because I know that when I rotate a figure it remains congruent, all I need to do is match up corresponding sides in order to solve for missing variables. So for example, this side right here, the side that's labeled 2s, if I imagine this triangle rotating around as it has been, I can visualize, hopefully, that that's going to match up to this side right here. Again, I know these two triangles are congruent. When I rotate, I don't change the size of something, I just change its location. So I'm going to write the equation 2s is equal to 12. I know that those two sides match up and are congruent. Once I divide, I know that s is equal to 6. I'm going to continue to do that to find my other sides as well, just match up corresponding sides. Just be careful, sometimes they make the algebra a little bit tricky. For example, if I were to look at this side down here, the 4r minus 3 side, if I imagine rotating, that matches up to this side over here, which is blank. So I suppose that won't really help me write any equation, so I'm just going to kind of ignore that, I suppose, and try to match up my remaining side. I can see that this side here then, the 2s plus 3 side, would rotate and match up to this side that's labeled as 3r. So those two sides do match up. Let me write that equation out. So I have 2 times s plus 3 is equal to 3r. Well, that's a strange equation. It's got two variables in it. So if we had started with that, there's nothing we could do with it. I can't solve an equation with two variables. But because I had done the green equation first, I already know what s is. And so what I'm going to do is go ahead and plug in 6 for s. I can only do this because I'd solved the green equation first. So if you had started with the blue equation, you'd be out of luck. You'd have to go back and try something else. So I'm going to plug in 6 for s and write 2 times 6 plus 3 is equal to 3r, and then solve that equation. So 12 plus 3 has to be equal to 3r. I'll go ahead and add the constants together on the left side of this equation. So 15 would equal 3r, and once I divide both sides by 3, I find out that r is equal to 5. So there's my two variables solved for. One thing we talked about in class was we had noticed that this was rotated 110 degrees, but that has absolutely nothing to do with the problem at all. I could rotate 110 degrees or 1,000 degrees or 15 degrees. Doesn't matter. The two triangles that I get will always be congruent as long as I just rotate them.